The source of all evil is our emotional reactions. It is the original error. It is the foolishness for which 1,000 life sentences and eternal banishment in hell are not even a sufficiently severe punishment.
You know what the real original sin was? It wasn't eating the apple. It was giving a reaction. The devil whispered and Eve engaged. Big mistake. He's been feeding on reactions ever since the beginning of the earth. As soon as you react, you fall. People lose power over you when they don't get a reaction. That is, after all, the best trick to get others to lose their effect. Look, we get it. We're human. We're wired for connection, for back and forth. Someone throws a punch, someone throws an insult, someone throws a drama. You get invested. It feels natural. It feels like you're standing up for yourself. But to certain people, like energy vampires, the drama creators, the perpetual victims, and the narcissists, your reaction isn't a defeat for them. It's their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Your anger, your tears, your frustration, your long-winded explanations trying to make them see, it's all just food. You are the source of their power, and they will keep coming back to the table as long as you keep serving the meal. So what do? Well, you can't exactly vanish. You can't always cut them out because sometimes it's a coworker or a family member. You become the gray rock. I grew used to watching men and women hand over their keys like children giving a master the keys to the pantry, mistaking that surrender for some holy moment of truth. The belief in feeling, the emotional reaction, the little quavering in the throat being taken as inextricable proof that the world had spoken and patted you on your little bum, had not. It had only reminded you that you alone possessed the patent on the sounds emitting from the meaninglessness of your individual ear flaps. I'll let you in on a little secret. The power goes where the outrage is. The soul market runs on noise. Every name, every outrage, and every boo is a token. The smart folks cash in on those tokens and buy a house. Meanwhile, the idiots spend their entire lives booing into the void, making no money and wondering why the wolves keep returning. Picture the oldest men in Rome's history, thanks to Latin literature. Ancient senators in white togas who took as good an attitude to the fumes from the fires outside their city as they did to their own laurel crowns. Marcus Aurelius presided over trials, wars, defeats, an epidemic, and the world itself, and yet he wrote as if practicing obscurity. His meditations are not so much a valedictory exposition of the whole Stoic system as a determination to experience neither acclaim nor dread. What is told to you is neither misfortune nor fortune. It's only words. When you call it misfortune, you hand the world a greater weapon with which to misfortune you. His stony silence was neither mist nor slack hand. It was a refusal to turn on the light. Furrowed by fate elsewhere, an old slave called Epictetus taught the same lesson, that within you there exists an inviolable territory that no thief may touch except by your say-so. He did not call upon people to feel nothing for the experiences and events our lives are strung along by. He called upon people to know their true owners and recognize what is not their own. The freedom he offered was not a grand liberation. It was simply bringing it home to you over and over again when the showman had long since stopped having fun with you. Without the audience, the tyrant's grandstanding won't play. Countless times in human experience, such a miracle has unfolded. Picture the village green where the grifter, beckoning the mob beneath a brass band, hollers and flails, capitulating the arms like a showman resurrecting Zeus. He expects the crowd to gravitate to present him with their visages upon 2 silver shields. But consider, once, a mob that does not lean. Envision a single individual, planted in the center, who does not exclaim or reward him with stares. The showman peeps and flails. He does it again and again, shyly, tantalizingly. A heady dread fills the void. Without the eyes, he flops.
This isn't a grim moralizing on sensation deadening. Rather, it is a technique scoured for centuries, often articulated by those who had no luxury of the idle. Consider those branded as prey, who developed the knack of striding as if the hunt were merely indistinct din. Don't those inconceivably ripped rulers or contemporaries who sought to overlay India in their vogue phrase do it with this sense? Mahatma Gandhi ground an empire's rage into a smooth pudding of a triumph by denying them the gratifying confrontation for which they hungrily awaited. When the soldiers whacked backs and bashed burgees, those onlookers looked aghast. Why their hits looked outre, so outlandish, unintended, comic, and grotesque that it became something not to resent. Empire's fury munched upon the immutable barrier of composure. I will tell you a method by which the subtle survive. They become the shore and allow the waves to pass. The wave is not the enemy. The wave is predictable. It crests. It spends itself. The shore is where you stand, and it is patient. Standing is not indifference. It is presence without being bait. How does the world change when reaction is withheld? It becomes, oddly, less fun for those who trade in it. Look at gossip. A gossip's delight is not the content, it is the ripple. When you refuse the ripple, you dry the gossip. When you refuse to jump to outrage online, you make monetization harder for conveyor belts of scandal. The machinery of modern extraction is built on clicks fueled by heat. When you cool your feed with a measured breath, you become a leak in the machine. There is a moral hazard here I will not hide. Not every silence is wise. Not every unreadable face is a fortress. Sometimes silence hides cowardice. Sometimes stillness is avoidance. The difference is subtle but decisive. The brave unreadable person is still anchored to truth. The cowardly unreadable person is drifting. The anchor is knowledge about who one is and what one is defending. Without that anchor, unreadability is merely a mask that rusts in the rain. The world will constantly offer you booby prizes labeled truth and justice that are really only warm wrappers around other people's appetites. Recognize the wrapper, then decline. You think you're standing up for yourself when you react. You think you're defending your truth, but you are merely confirming that the hook is still in your flesh. You are jerking the line and the fisherman on the other end smiles. He knows you are still there. He knows you are still on the line. Your outrage and your tears are not your weapons. They are the bait, and the other end is held by anyone who knows how to pull it. When you do not react, you do not just confuse them, you uncreate them. You reduce the drama king to a man in a room shouting at a wall. You reduce the energy vampire to a person with an empty cup. You reduce the manipulator to a puppeteer with no puppets. To be honest, the power was never theirs, it was always yours. You were the one who granted it. You were the architect of your cage, so stop building it. Let your gray rock presence be the end of their world and the beginning of yours. If this found a home in you, then don't hesitate to subscribe and giving this video a thumbs up. We'll meet again.